Hi, I'm Rachel Anderson. I'm 27 and I work as a nurse in Denver, Colorado. For 4 years, I gave my parents $2,000 every single month. That's almost $100,000 total. Do you know how much money that is? I could have bought a house. I could have traveled the world. Instead, I paid for their lives while mine fell apart. But here's the thing nobody tells you about being the responsible child. The more you give, the more they take. It never stops. Never. My parents treated me like a wallet with legs. Need new furniture? Call Rachel. Car broke down? Call Rachel. Want a fancy vacation? You guessed it. Call Rachel. Then my wedding day arrived. I spent months planning it. I picked the perfect dress, chose beautiful flowers, made a seating chart with their names right in the front row. Mom promised she wouldn't miss it. Dad said he'd walk me down the aisle. I believed them because I was stupid enough to think blood meant loyalty. The church was packed. Everyone I loved was there. Well, almost everyone. When the music started, I looked for Dad. He wasn't there. I walked down that aisle alone while people whispered, "Where are her parents? Is everything okay?" My face burned with shame. But I smiled anyway because that's what you do when your heart is breaking in front of 50 people. After the ceremony, I locked myself in the bathroom. My best friend Hannah knocked softly. "Rachel, are you okay?" No, I wasn't okay. I was destroyed. But I called Mom anyway. Maybe there was an accident. Maybe they were hurt. Maybe there was a reason they missed the biggest day of my life. Mom answered on the first ring. Her voice was cheerful, too cheerful. "Oh, Rachel, hi," she said like nothing was wrong. "Where are you?" I asked, my voice shaking. "It's my wedding day." There was a pause, then she laughed, actually laughed. "Oh, sweetie, we decided to drive to the casino instead. Your father had a good feeling about the slots. Don't bother us, we're on a winning streak." My phone almost slipped from my hand. The casino. They chose gambling over my wedding. With money I'd been sending them, I hung up. Didn't say goodbye, just ended the call. Then I did something I should have done years ago. I opened every app on my phone. Banking, Venmo, PayPal, everything. Delete, 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 cancel, cancel, cancel. Every automatic payment gone. Every linked account removed. Every way they could reach my money destroyed. It took 25 minutes. When I finished, my hands stopped shaking. For the first time in 4 years, I felt powerful. My phone rang exactly 32 minutes later. Dad, his voice was furious. "What did you do? The ATM says declined. Fix it right now." I smiled, actually smiled. "No," I said simply. "You made your choice, I'm making mine." He started yelling, calling me names, saying I was ungrateful and cruel. I hung up and blocked his number. Then I blocked Mom's too. You want to know what happens when you finally fight back? Stick around. This story gets good. Because what I found out later made everything make sense. And trust me, the revenge was sweet. For 4 years, I lived like a broke college student even though I had a real job. I ate ramen noodles for dinner. I wore the same 3 outfits to work. My apartment had a couch I found on the street and a TV from 2010. Why? Because every extra dollar went to them. My sister Jessica lived differently. She's 32 and works in real estate. Designer bags, new car every 2 years, fancy apartment downtown. And our parents, they adored her, called her successful, called her their pride and joy. Meanwhile, I was their secret, the daughter they only called when bills were due. I remember asking Mom once why they never bragged about me. I save lives at the hospital. That's important, right? She just patted my hand and said, "You're doing fine, honey, but Jessica closed $1 million deal last month. That's real success." Those words cut deeper than any scalpel. My fiancé, Tyler, saw it all. He'd watch me stress over their bills and say, "Babe, when was the last time they even asked how you're doing?" I couldn't remember. Honestly, couldn't remember a single time they asked about MY life. MY dreams, my struggles. It was always about them. Planning the wedding was hard. We didn't have much money because of, well, you know, but I didn't care about fancy things. I just wanted the people I loved there. I personally delivered their invitation, sat in their living room drinking coffee. "Please come," I begged. It would mean everything to me. Dad looked me right in the eyes, smiled warmly. "We wouldn't miss it for anything, sweetheart." He lied to my face. knowing they had no intention of showing up, knowing they were planning a casino trip instead. That's a special kind of cruel. The morning of my wedding, I texted them. "Can't wait to see you today." 3 hours passed. No response. I told myself phone service was bad. They were driving. They'd walk through those church doors any minute, but they never did. Standing at that altar, I kept glancing at the entrance. Tyler held my hand tight. He whispered, "I'm here, I'm always here." And he was. When my parents abandoned me, this man stayed. That's when I knew who my real family was. The reception was beautiful despite everything. People danced, laughed, celebrated our love, but I felt hollow inside, like part of me had died. Then Hannah pulled me aside. "Rachel, stop waiting for them to love you back. They're not capable of it." Her words hit like ice water. She was right. That's when I excused myself, found a quiet corner, and burned their bridge so thoroughly there was nothing left but ash. Every financial connection severed. They wanted to treat me like I didn't exist. Fine. Now I truly didn't exist to them, at least not as a bank. When Dad called screaming, I felt nothing. No guilt, no sadness, just cold, clear certainty I was done. "You chose slot machines over your daughter's wedding," I said calmly. "Live with that choice. Goodbye." Click. Tyler found me after, didn't ask questions, just wrapped his arms around me and said, "I'm proud of you." Those 4 words healed something broken inside me. Someone was finally proud of me, not for what I could give them, but for who I was. We left for our honeymoon the next day. Hawaii, 5 days of sunshine and peace. I didn't check my phone, didn't read the dozens of texts from my parents, didn't listen to the voicemails, just existed in a world where I mattered, where I was enough. It felt like breathing for the first time. But when we got home, reality was waiting. And it was worse than I imagined. So much worse. Because my mailbox was full. And one envelope changed everything I thought I knew. Want to find out what was inside? Keep watching. You won't believe where this goes. The envelope was from a lawyer's office in Seattle. I didn't know any lawyers in Seattle. My heart started pounding as I opened it. Inside was a letter on fancy paper. "Dear Ms. Anderson, I am writing regarding the estate of your late uncle, Thomas Chen." Uncle Thomas, my mom's brother. I barely knew him. He moved to Seattle when I was a kid and we lost touch. The letter continued. "Mr. Chen passed away 6 months ago. In his will, he left specific instructions regarding you and your sister Jessica." 6 months ago? Why was I just hearing about this now? I kept reading, my confusion growing with every word. "Mr. Chen established 2 trust funds of $75,000 each, one for you, one for Jessica. These funds were to be distributed on your 25th birthdays." My 25th birthday was 2 years ago. I never received $75,000, not a penny. The letter explained that Uncle Thomas had sent the money to my parents as trustees. They were supposed to give it to us, but obviously they never did. My hands started shaking so bad the paper rattled. $75,000. Money that was mine. That Uncle Thomas worked hard for, that he wanted me to have. And my parents took it, just like they took everything else from me. There was more. The lawyer had only found out about the theft because Uncle Thomas's accountant was cleaning up old files. They tracked the money transfers, found them going into my parents' personal accounts, discovered that Mom had forged both our signatures on legal documents saying we'd received the funds. This wasn't just lying, this was fraud, this was a crime, and they'd done it to both their daughters. I immediately called Jessica. For once, I needed to talk to my perfect sister. She answered on the 3rd ring. "What do you want, Rachel?" "Did you get a letter from a lawyer in Seattle?" I asked. Silence. Then, "Yeah, yesterday. I can't believe they did this to us." Her voice cracked. The golden child was finally seeing the truth. Our parents weren't just neglectful. They were thieves. We met at a coffee shop that afternoon. For the first time in YEARS, Jessica and I actually talked. Really talked. She admitted Mom and Dad hit her up for money constantly, too. "They said you were doing fine and I should help them since I make more." We'd been played against each other our entire adult lives. Jessica cried. I thought they loved me more because I was successful, but they just loved my money more. Finally, she understood. We weren't daughters to them. We were RESOURCES, things to be used and drained dry. Together, we went to the police, filed a report for fraud and identity theft. The officer's face got serious when he saw the documents. "This is textbook financial abuse," he said. "Your parents could face serious charges." Good, let them. Within a week, 2 detectives showed up at my parents' house. I wasn't there, but Jessica's neighbor saw it happen. Mom answered the door in her bathrobe. They asked her inside. 20 minutes later, they walked out with boxes of financial records. Dad called me that night, not yelling this time, begging. "Rachel, please don't do this, we're your parents." I laughed, actually laughed out loud. "Parents show up to weddings," I said. "Parents don't steal from their children. You're just 2 people I used to know, and now you're 2 people going to court." The evidence was overwhelming. Bank transfers, forged signatures, emails between Mom and Dad discussing how to spend the girls' money without us finding out. The prosecutor called it one of the clearest cases of fraud she'd ever seen. My parents tried everything. They begged, they cried. They sent other family members to guilt trip us. Aunt Linda called saying, "But they're family," I told her. "Then they should have acted like it." Uncle Robert said I was being cruel. I blocked him too. Only Grandma Margaret understood. She's my dad's mom, and she was furious. "I raised him better than this," she told me, crying. "I'm so sorry, Rachel. You deserved better." She testified against her own son in court. That's real love, choosing what's right over what's easy. The trial lasted 3 days. I sat in that courtroom watching my parents squirm, watching them lie on the witness stand, watching the jury's faces turn disgusted as they heard how Mom and Dad had spent our money on cars, trips, and yes, gambling. The casino records were damning. Over $40,000 lost in 2 years. 40,000. My money, Jessica's money, Uncle Thomas's gift to us, all fed into slot machines and poker tables. They'd literally gambled away our futures. When the verdict came, I felt Tyler squeeze my hand. Guilty on all counts. The judge looked at my parents with pure contempt. "You betrayed the most sacred trust, that between parent and child. You stole from your own daughters to fund your lifestyle. That is unforgivable." Dad got 18 months in prison. Mom got 12 months plus probation. They were ordered to pay back $150,000 total. The $75,000 for each of us plus damages. The courtroom gasped. My parents went white. But here's the beautiful part. They didn't have that money. It was gone, gambled away. Spent, wasted, so the court seized everything. Their house, their cars, their furniture, even Mom's jewelry, all auctioned off to pay us back. They ended up with $47,000 total from selling everything they owned. Still owed over $100,000 more. The judge garnished their wages for the next 15 years. 15 years of having money taken from every paycheck. They'd be 70 years old before they finished paying. Jessica and I walked out of that courthouse together. For the first time since we were kids, we felt like sisters. "Want to get lunch?" she asked. I smiled. "Yeah, I do." With the settlement money, Tyler and I bought a beautiful house. 3 bedrooms, big kitchen, garden in the back. We're trying for a baby now. Starting the family I wish I'd had growing up. One built on love, not manipulation. Jessica opened her own real estate firm. Used her share to finally go independent. She texts me every day now. We meet for brunch every Sunday. We laugh about the past and plan for the future. We both finally understand that real family doesn't take, it gives. My parents write letters from prison. I don't read them. I don't care. They made their choices. Missed my wedding for slot MACHINES. Stole my inheritance to feed their addiction. Lied to everyone who ever trusted them. These are not my people anymore. Grandma Margaret comes over every Thursday for dinner. She tells stories about her life and asks about mine. Really asks. Really listens. That's what love looks like. Not empty promises and manipulation, but showing up, being present, choosing your people. Last month, I got promoted to head nurse. Tyler took me out to celebrate. We toasted with champagne, and I felt proud. Not because anyone else was proud of me, but because I was proud of myself. For surviving, for fighting back, for choosing me. Sometimes people ask if I regret turning my parents in. The answer is always no. They didn't just steal money. They stole years. Years I spent stressed and broke. Years I spent believing I wasn't good enough. Years I spent trying to earn love that was never available. Now I know better. Love isn't something you earn. It's something you're given freely. And if someone makes you pay for it, they don't love you, they love what you provide. There's a big difference. I'm Rachel Anderson. I'm 27 years old. I'm a nurse, a wife, and soon-to-be mother. I stood up to the people who should have protected me, and I won, not just in court, but in life, because I finally learned that the only person who can save you is you. If someone in your life is draining you dry, hear me now. Cut them off. It doesn't matter if they're family. It doesn't matter how guilty you feel. Your life is yours. Your money is yours. Your happiness is yours. Don't let anyone steal it from you. Comment 1 if you've ever been used by someone you loved. Comment 2 if you fought back and won. Subscribe to Revenge Voice for more true stories like this one. And remember, revenge isn't always about hurting someone back. Sometimes it's just about taking your power back and living so well they can never touch you again. That's the sweetest revenge of all.